What if everything you've been told about America's most famous mystery is a lie? Here's a story, style speech you can use for a YouTube narration on the dark truth behind America's most famous mystery. It began on a cold, quiet night when the world was asleep, unaware that a mystery was unfolding that would fascinate generations. Newspapers would write about it. Experts would debate it. Conspiracy theories would spread across the globe. And decades later, people would still be asking the same question. What really happened? America has seen many mysteries, but none have captured the imagination of the public quite like this one. Imagine a place where secrets hide behind closed doors, where witnesses tell conflicting stories, and where every answer only creates more questions. At first, the case seemed simple. Officials released statements. Investigators shared their conclusions. The public accepted what they were told. But then strange details began to emerge. People noticed inconsistencies. Timelines didn't match. Important evidence appeared to be missing. Witnesses changed their stories. Documents vanished. And suddenly, what looked like an ordinary case transformed into one of the most famous mysteries in American history. The media covered every development. Television programs dedicated entire episodes to it. Authors wrote books trying to solve it. Amateur investigators spent years examining every clue, convinced that the truth was hiding in plain sight. As time passed, theories multiplied. Some believed powerful individuals were involved. Others thought the government knew more than it admitted. There were those who argued that the official explanation was impossible, pointing to details that seemed too suspicious to ignore. The deeper people looked, the darker the story became. Hidden connections appeared between people who supposedly had nothing to do with each other. Strange meetings took place shortly before critical events. Evidence that could have answered key questions disappeared under mysterious circumstances. For many Americans, the mystery became more than just a puzzle. It became a symbol of distrust. If the official story wasn't true, then what else was being hidden? This question fueled decades of speculation. Every new witness, every leaked document, and every forgotten photograph reignited the debate. Some believed they were on the verge of discovering the truth. Others argued that the real answers had been buried forever. Yet one fact remained undeniable. The mystery survived. Generations came and went, but the questions remained exactly the same. Parents discussed it with their children. Researchers dedicated years of their lives to it. Entire communities formed around the search for answers. What made the mystery so powerful wasn't simply the event itself. It was the possibility that the truth had never been fully revealed. Humans are naturally curious. We want explanations. We want certainty. We want stories to have clear endings. But this mystery refused to provide one. It remained unfinished, like a book with the final chapter missing. And perhaps that is why it continues to fascinate people today. Every theory offers a different version of reality. Every piece of evidence seems to point in multiple directions. Every answer creates another question waiting to be explored. Some investigators believe the truth is hidden within forgotten archives. Others think it exists in classified documents that may never be released. A few argue that the truth has already been discovered, but people refuse to accept it because it challenges everything they believe. The dark truth behind America's most famous mystery may not be a single secret. It may be the realization that certainty is impossible. Sometimes evidence disappears. Sometimes memories fade. Sometimes the people who know the answers take those answers with them. History is not always a complete record. It is often a collection of fragments, assembled by people trying their best to understand the past. And when those fragments don't fit together, mysteries are born. Today, millions remain fascinated by the case. New theories appear online every year. Documentaries attract huge audiences. Investigators continue searching for clues. The mystery has become larger than the event itself. It has become a part of American culture. Whether the truth is eventually uncovered or remains hidden forever, one thing is certain. The mystery reminds us that not every question receives an answer. Not every story reaches a satisfying conclusion. And sometimes, the most powerful mysteries are the ones that force us to keep searching. Because somewhere between fact and speculation, between evidence and rumor, between truth and legend, lies a story that continues to captivate the world. A story that refuses to die. A story that remains, even now, one of America's greatest and darkest mysteries. On a quiet evening many years ago, when most Americans were going about their normal lives, no one could have imagined that a single event would become one of the greatest mysteries in the nation's history. It would dominate headlines, inspire countless books and documentaries, and spark debates that would continue for generations. Even today, decades later, people are still searching for answers. What began as a shocking incident soon transformed into something much bigger. The official story seemed straightforward at first. Authorities conducted investigations. Reports were released. Experts presented conclusions. The public was told that the mystery had been solved. But not everyone was convinced. As the years passed, small details began to attract attention. Certain pieces of evidence appeared confusing. Witness accounts seemed to contradict one another. Important documents remained hidden from public view. Questions that should have been answered only became more complicated. And so the mystery grew. People from all walks of life became obsessed with finding the truth. Journalists dedicated years of research to the case. Historians searched through old records. Amateur investigators spent countless nights examining photographs, reports, and interviews. Everyone believed they might be the one to uncover the missing piece of the puzzle. Yet every discovery seemed to create even more uncertainty. Imagine standing in a room filled with hundreds of puzzle pieces scattered across the floor. Some pieces clearly belong together. Others seem to come from an entirely different picture. A few important pieces are missing completely. No matter how hard you try, the final image remains impossible to see. That is exactly what America's most famous mystery became. The public was drawn into a world of unanswered questions. Why did certain events unfold the way they did? Why did some witnesses provide dramatically different accounts? Why were some records sealed for years? Why did new information continue to emerge decades after the event itself? The more people looked, the stranger the story became. Rumors began spreading across the country. Some believed powerful organizations were secretly involved. Others suspected that influential figures knew more than they admitted. There were theories involving hidden agendas, secret meetings, and carefully concealed evidence. Many of these theories sounded unbelievable. Yet the mystery itself seemed unbelievable too. Each time authorities attempted to provide answers, critics pointed to inconsistencies. Each time investigators released findings, skeptics highlighted unanswered questions. The debate never ended because neither side could completely prove its case. As a result, the mystery took on a life of its own. It stopped being just an investigation. It became a symbol. For some people, it represented the possibility that governments and institutions could not always be trusted. For others, it demonstrated how easily misinformation and speculation can spread when people lack complete information. Both sides believed they were defending the truth. And perhaps that is what makes the mystery so fascinating. At its core, it is not simply about what happened on a particular day. It is about human nature itself. People want certainty. They want clear answers. They want stories with beginnings, middles, and endings. But reality is often far more complicated. History is messy. Evidence can disappear. Memories can fade. Witnesses can make mistakes. Records can be lost. Over time, separating fact from fiction becomes increasingly difficult. The mystery forced Americans to confront this uncomfortable reality. What if some questions can never be answered? What if the complete truth is unknowable? For many people, this possibility was unacceptable. And so the search continued. Year after year, researchers uncovered forgotten documents hidden in archives. Journalists interviewed witnesses who had remained silent for decades. New technologies allowed experts to analyze old evidence in ways that had never been possible before. Every breakthrough generated excitement. Perhaps this would finally reveal the truth. Perhaps this would answer the questions once and for all. Yet somehow the mystery always survived. The answers never seemed complete. The doubts never fully disappeared. The debates continued. Entire industries emerged around the mystery. Television networks produced special investigations. Publishers released best-selling books. Filmmakers created documentaries viewed by millions. Podcasts dedicated hundreds of hours to exploring every possible theory. The public's fascination only grew stronger. Why? Because mysteries tap into something fundamental within us. Humans are storytellers. We are driven by curiosity. When faced with an unanswered question, our minds naturally search for explanations. Even when evidence is limited, we attempt to connect the dots. Sometimes those connections reveal important truths. Other times they lead us down paths of speculation and imagination. America's most famous mystery exists at the intersection of both. It contains enough evidence to suggest that something significant happened. Yet it contains enough uncertainty to allow countless interpretations. This unique combination has kept the mystery alive for generations. The dark truth behind the mystery may not be a hidden conspiracy. It may not be a secret organization. It may not be a classified document locked away in a government vault. The darkest truth may be something far simpler. The truth may be that people are uncomfortable with uncertainty. We desperately want every mystery to have a solution. We want every question to have an answer. We want every story to reach a satisfying conclusion. But history does not always cooperate. Sometimes crucial evidence is lost forever. Sometimes witnesses die before sharing what they know. Sometimes the passage of time erases details that can never be recovered. And sometimes a mystery remains exactly that, a mystery. This realization is unsettling because it challenges our belief that everything can eventually be explained. Yet it is also what makes the story so powerful. The mystery has survived because it reflects a universal human experience. The search for truth. Every generation inherits unanswered questions from the past. Every generation attempts to solve them. And every generation discovers that the pursuit of truth is often more complicated than expected. Today, millions of people remain captivated by the mystery. Online communities analyze evidence 24 hours a day. Researchers continue examining newly released records. Documentaries attract enormous audiences eager to hear the latest theories. The mystery refuses to disappear, not because it lacks answers, but because it contains just enough answers to keep people searching for more. Some believe the complete truth will eventually emerge. Others think it has already been lost forever. No one knows for certain, and perhaps that uncertainty is the reason the mystery remains so powerful. It exists in a space between fact and legend, between history and mythology, between evidence and imagination. It reminds us that knowledge has limits. It reminds us that certainty is often an illusion. And it reminds us that some stories are too complex to fit neatly into a single explanation. Long after the original witnesses are gone, long after the headlines have faded, and long after new generations inherit the questions of the past, the mystery will continue to endure. People will keep searching. They will keep debating. They will keep asking the same question that has echoed through history for decades. What really happened? And until that question is answered beyond all doubt, America's most famous mystery will continue to cast its shadow across history, an enduring reminder that sometimes the most fascinating stories are not the ones we fully understand, but the ones that leave us wondering forever.